Seoul, North Korea's leader has delayed a decision on firing missiles towards the U.S. territory of Guam while he watches the actions of the United States a little longer, the North state media said on Tuesday, as Washington warned it would take out any missile heading for the Pacific island. Pyongyang's detailed plans to land 4 missiles near Guam prompted a surge in tensions in the region last week, with U.S. President Donald Trump warning he would unleash fire and fury on North Korea if it threatened the United States. In his first public appearance in about 2 weeks, Kim Jong-un inspected the command of the North's army on Monday, examining the plan for a long time and discussing it with army officers, the official KCNA said in a report. He said that if the Yankees persist in their extremely dangerous, reckless actions on the Korean peninsula and in its vicinity, testing the self-restraint of the DPRK, the latter will make an important decision as it already declared, the report said. The DPRK stands for North Korea's official name, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Earlier there were unconfirmed reports that spy satellites have captured North Korea moving missiles into position. CNN reports a U.S. military official have advised they suspect North Korea is mobilizing a missile launcher. However, the U.S. military sources told CNN that the movement is not believed to be directly related to the threat issued by North Korea last week to strike the waters near Guam. Kim Jong-un consults maps of proposed missile launchers to Guam. In this image published by North Korean state media on Tuesday, photo KCNA. Nevertheless, the movement suggests North Korea could be readying for a launch within the next 2 days, CNN reported. Kim has ordered the army should always be fire-ready should he make a decision for action, the country's official news agency says. Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis photo at the United States, which was the first to bring numerous strategic nuclear equipment near us, should first make the right decision and show through actions if they wish to ease tensions on the Korean peninsula and prevent a dangerous military clash, Kim was cited as saying in the report by KCNA on Tuesday. The comments come after U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis said the United States would know the trajectory of a missile fired by North Korea within moments and would take it out if the missile looked like hitting the U.S. Pacific territory of Guam. A file photo of what North Korea says was the launch of a Hwasong-14 intercontinental ballistic missile in early July. Photo app. U.S. officials and South Korean president in recent days have played down the risk of an imminent conflict after Washington and Pyongyang exchanged fiery rhetoric last week. But Mattis told reporters on Monday that war could break out if North Korea were to fire a missile at the U.S. U.S. President Donald Trump photo app. If they fire at the United States, it could escalate into war very quickly, Mattis said. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis warned that it would be game on for war if North Korea fired missiles that hit the U.S. or its territories, including the Pacific island of Guam. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has made more threats against the U.S. Photo app. It could escalate into war very quickly. Yes, that's called war, Mattis told reporters Monday at the Pentagon. If they shoot at the United States, I'm assuming they hit the United States. If they do that, then it's game on. Asked if he considers Guam part of the U.S., he said, yeah, it sure is. But South Korean President Moon Jae-in said on Tuesday there would be no military action upon the Korean peninsula without Seoul's consent and that the government would prevent war by all means. Military action on the Korean peninsula can only be decided by South Korea and no one else can decide to take military action without the consent of South Korea, said Moon in televised comments. The president was making an annual speech to commemorate the 72nd anniversary of the nation's liberation from Japanese military rule that began in 1910 and ended in 1945. The government, putting everything on the line, will block war by all means, Moon said. About 7,000 U.S. military personnel and their families are on Guam, an unincorporated U.S. territory with a total population of 170,000. The strategic outpost is about 3,400 kilometers southeast of Pyongyang. Mattis was vague about what would happen if missiles were launched toward Guam but splashed into the sea. He said U.S. surveillance would know whether the missiles would hit land within moments of the launch. I need a certain amount of ambiguity because I'm not going to tell them what I'm going to do in each case, Mattis said. Mattis cautioned reporters not to portray his words as a virtual declaration of war. He said that is up to the president, perhaps up to the Congress. The bottom line is we will defend the country from an attack. Marine General Joseph Dunford, chairman of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff, reaffirmed the U.S. commitment to protect South Korea after a meeting with Moon. Spokesman Park Soo-hyun told reporters in Seoul on Monday. Dunford told Moon everyone hopes to resolve the current situation without going to war, Park said. Other administration officials also have sought at least a temporary halt in the war of words between Trump and Kim, which sparked fears that a miscalculation could lead to an actual military conflict. Global stocks gained and volatility receded Monday as the prospect of war between the two countries appeared to cool. European Union Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini called in a statement Monday for North Korea to refrain from any further provocative action. She said the EU and its member states will strengthen their diplomatic work by reaching out to the North and South Korea, the US, China, Russia and Japan. In a joint commentary in The Wall Street Journal, Mattis and Secretary of State Rex Tillerson said the US is willing to negotiate with Pyongyang, but appeared to reject China's suspension proposal, in which North Korea would halt further nuclear and missile tests in return for the US and South Korea simultaneously stopping joint military exercises in the region. Given the long record of North Korea's dishonesty in negotiations and repeated violations of international agreements, it is incumbent upon the regime to signal its desire to negotiate in good faith, they wrote. A sincere indication would be the immediate cessation of its provocative threats, nuclear tests, missile launches and other weapons tests. Mattis, who also sought last week to emphasize diplomatic efforts, said Monday that he wasn't trying to reignite tensions. "It's not that I'm over here Dr. Strangelove," he said, "but you don't shoot at people in this world unless you want to bear the consequences." Reuters, Bloomberg with Fairfax Media.